And you want to optimize your immune system. And we're going to talk about that in particular today. So what are the natural remedies? You really want to know, what can you do? What can you do to fight these allergies? Well, the first thing I want to bring to you is consider a plant-based diet. And you'll be like, what? I've never heard of that before. Plant-based diet for allergies? Yes, plant-based diets are high in phytochemicals. Phytochemicals fight for you. I love to say it that way because these little they're not even nutrients, they're like compounds in these fruits and vegetables really help the immune system to be stronger. They stimulate white cells. They have antioxidants that fight free radicals that help your immune system to function even better. And there have been studies to show that a plant-based diet does make you respond better to allergens. It does help you have less incidence of infections and colds. And yes, you do better with allergic rhinitis also. So consider a plant-based diet and try to transition to one if you are not yet doing that. Consider having less meat, less processed food, and increasing your fresh fruits and vegetables. That will go a far way in helping you to fight seasonal allergies. In the Korean study I have noted here, they looked at about 7,000 individuals in Korea, and they found that the folks that had the most fruits and vegetables, cabbage, seaweed, radishes, those individuals had less symptoms of seasonal allergies. They responded better when it came to rhinitis. I didn't have as much rhinitis. So there is evidence to show that it does make a difference. Vitamin C. We always hear about vitamin C because it's powerful. It's a potent antioxidant. And we have evidence to show that there's almost an inverse relationship between the symptoms of rhinitis and the level of ascorbic acid in your blood or the level of vitamin C in your body. The less vitamin C you have, the more likely you are to have a lot of runny nose and itchy eyes. So you want to boost the vitamin C and decrease your runny nose. It really does help. Um, Vitamin C prevents secretion of histamine by white cells. Histamine is that compound that is released by mast cells and that makes everything go crazy in your nose, and it leads to all of that runniness and the itchiness. Vitamin C helps to control that secretion. And also, it helps to increase detoxification by white cells. For allergic rhinitis, a dose of about 2 grams per day is what's considered useful. And there's also intranasal vitamin C that you can use to help with the runny, annoying sensation that you experience. What else? What are the natural remedies? Well, juicing. Juicing is really quite powerful when it comes to boosting the immune system and helping you to fight allergic rhinitis. I've heard of certainly significant testimonials where individuals took on a regimen of juicing once a day, and that significantly decreased their allergic symptoms. So, um, for example, they would have a normal breakfast, lunch, and their third meal, they would replace it with an 8-ounce juice. Let's say a juice with apples, carrots, and beets. Perfect combination. And just having that every single evening, just dropping dinner, having an 8-ounce glass of juice that they put in their juicer, and they got the juice out, having that every single day for weeks, it does changes in your body. And it helps you to fight better those little allergens that make you go so crazy.
Hmm. So, Doc, I have a question. Is there
Yes.
advantage to juicing in the morning or in opposition to the evening? I normally hear people say drink juice early in the morning. I'm not sure if there's an advantage or disadvantage rather than in the evening. In other words, replace breakfast rather than supper.
Sure. So I don't know of any evidence to suggest that it makes a difference. And you
Mm-hmm.
know that as a physician, I'm always looking for evidence. I'm always looking for research. So I don't know if the evidence to say it makes a difference.
Mm-hmm.
And trying to think physiologically of how the body works, I can't I can't say that it does make a difference. The only
Mm-hmm.
thing that I could possibly guess as to why someone may suggest that is maybe limiting liquids too
Mm-hmm.
late so that you're not up,
I see.
peeing at night, or maybe to make sure you get it in because it's important to get the juices in. So the important things you usually try to get in the mornings, just like, for example, exercise. I exercise in the morning, so I get it
Mm-hmm.
in. Maybe that's the same thing with the juicing. But there's no evidence to suggest that you would be better off doing it in the morning than the evening. I
Okay.
think just getting in a nice 8 ounce of
Mm-hmm.
juices every day
Mm-hmm.
will go a far way.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So juicing does really help. And also use a lot of water inside and outside. We often do not realize how powerful water is. And I have to admit I'm the first one. I know it in theory, but I don't always practice it. But when I'm reviewing the evidence on how amazing water is, it just blows my mind. And I'm like, oh, you have to really utilize this gift much better. So when it comes to allergies, how can you utilize water? Well, if you have seasonal allergies and the pollen really gets to you, it's going to be important that when you come in from at the end of the day, that you shower. You wash your hair, your face, your whole body. You remove the pollen from your exterior. You will sleep much better and you'll have less symptoms. Also, a nasal rinse. We spoke about that in part 2, using a neti pot or any nasal rinse to flush the sinuses, flush the nose, will help a lot when it comes to the runny symptoms of allergic rhinitis. You can also use hot and cold compresses. We discussed that in part 2. Taking a warm rag and placing it over your sinuses, over your nose for about 5 minutes, then replacing it with a cold rag for about a minute. That increases blood flow to the area and helps to remove um, toxins, and you will feel better just by doing that exchange about 2 or 3 times. Warm, cold, warm, cold. Also, a hot foot bath is useful, and we discussed that already. And aim to drink a gallon of water a day. Now, a gallon sounds like a lot of water, but it's not even enough. It's probably just exactly what you need. Um, we're told to drink at least 8 glasses or 8 ounce, 8 glasses of water a day, 8 ounces each glass. But I'm telling you, that's just the beginning. As I'm reviewing the research, reviewing the data, as I'm practicing it on myself for the past few days, trying to drink more water, I realize the more water I get in, the better I function. And it's the same thing with your allergies. You really help to flush out your system, increase your immune system function, and so aim to get a gallon a day. I think that's about 10 glasses of water. That's really gonna um, make you thrive when you get that much water in. And aerobic exercise. Now, I knew exercise was important. I know Pastor exercises every single day. He walks, he walks, he walks. And I exercise on most days. I jog, I walk, I hike. But I did not know that exercise decreases the symptoms of allergic rhinitis. I've never come across that until I was doing the research. And I came across an article that looked at exercise and how it can reduce allergy symptoms. And I'm going to share that with you. So, there was a study done looking at the effects of aerobic exercise and vitamin C supplementation on rhinitis symptoms in allergic rhinitis patients. And they had different groups. They had one group that just did exercise. That was the control group. Then they had one group that did exercise and they took vitamin C, about 2 grams a day. And another group, what were they? They were probably Oh, one group didn't do anything. I'm sorry. One group did nothing. One group exercised. One group exercised and took vitamin C. And they found that the aerobic exercise significantly improved clinical allergic rhinitis and cytokine profiles. What are cytokines? Cytokines are some of the players in your immune system that help to really determine how much inflammation you have and how you fight the bad guys, the bugs, the allergens. And so exercise, we've always known that it helps to boost the immune system, to modulate, how your immune system works. And it also works for allergic rhinitis. And let me tell you how much exercise they did. They didn't go run marathons. These individuals, they exercise for 30 minutes, 3 times a week for 2 months. That's not even meeting the level of the physical activity recommendations for Americans, right? We are told that for optimal physical fitness, we need to be exercising 150 minutes a week, which breaks down to about 30 minutes, 5 days a week. These folks were only working out 30 minutes for 3 days a week for 2 months, and they got results. So exercise, one of God's gifts to us, helps to fight allergic rhinitis. And to me, that is just so exciting whenever I see the evidence that clearly supports what we've known all along. All right. Now, so we spoke about nutrition, plant-based diet, water, get lots of water inside and out, and exercise. Now let's look at some foods that can help with allergic rhinitis. Now, honey. Honey is one of my big recommendations because I've seen it work personally in my family, in my neighbors. Local honey really helps you to deal with allergies so much better. Now, I'm going to let you know the truth. There are not many studies showing that honey is this great treatment for allergic rhinitis, but I have to talk about it because it's worked in my home, and maybe we just need more studies. We just don't have enough studies, okay? But I'm telling you, it works. You want to get local honey, not honey that was produced like 100 miles from you, or in California if you're in New York. It has to be honey local to your area, within, I would say, a 5-mile radius. I get my honey from a neighbor 3 houses down from me. So that is as local as it gets. And what we are doing when we use local honey is we're taking a small inoculation of pollen every single day. And so we're building up tolerance to these pollen. And we don't have that same response when the pollen season explodes. So that's really the theory behind it. So this is what helps with seasonal allergies, and pollinated allergies. Now, when it comes to local honey, 2 tablespoons a day is enough. So if you want to put it in your honey, in your tea, if you want to put it on your toast bread, if you want to put it, in your salad dressing, just incorporate it naturally into your daily usage, and that will help you fight seasonal allergies. I've seen it work over and over again. I should probably just publish my own study because I have enough participants to show that it makes a difference. Now, warning, do not give honey to children under 1 year old. That's a well-noted guideline because honey, not all the time, but sometimes can have some spores or contamination with Clostridium in there. And whereas adults may be able, or older children may be able to fight that off easily, a little tiny child, GI tract cannot or does not overcome that infection well with that spore, and they can get horribly ill. So never give honey to children. A 2, 3-year-old, they can handle it, but not a child below 1 year old. What other foods are known to fight seasonal allergies or fight allergic rhinitis? Beta glucan. Now, beta glucan probably doesn't mean anything to you, but I'm going to break it down. Beta glucan is a fiber. It's fiber, and it's a soluble fiber. Remember, you have insoluble and soluble fiber. This is a soluble fiber that is found in your gut.
Say what, Dr. Caddy, are you still there? Somehow something happened a while ago. We dropped. You're mute, by the way. You're muted. Yes, now you're unmuted.
Yeah, wow. So when did you lose me? What was I
You
talking about?
soluble fiber, soluble soluble fibers.
Okay.
And then
All right.
it just froze. So
Wow. Okay. All right. Well, I'm glad we're back on. So, are you able to see my screen? I don't think so. Let me.
well, let's see if you can share, because maybe if it started a new meeting, then it might. Yeah, yeah. Okay, yes, we can.
Awesome. Okay.
Hmm.
Okay. So, another food that fights for you and helps you with allergic rhinitis is beta glucan. Now, beta glucan is a fiber. It's a soluble fiber, and it contains just your regular simple oats. Whole grains are amazing. And you never realize how
So, Doc,
awesome.
you went
Yes.
away and came back. So you started with beta glucan, and then you said soluble fiber, and then you went away, and the next word I heard was oats. So I'm not sure if you're saying this is oats or found in oats, but maybe you want to start over again.
Yes, sure, sure, sure. So beta glucan is a soluble fiber and
Uh-huh.
it decreases the allergic response. And where do you find this? You find it in whole grains like oats and barley.
Uh,
Now, oats are readily available. They're on every shelf in every grocery store, and it's considered a whole grain. Oats and barley. And in my house, we have oats almost every single day. I know, Pastor, you love your steel cut oats.
so yeah, so when you eat steel cut oatmeal, you're getting this beta glucan. Is that what you're saying?
You sure
Okay.
are. And
Mm.
steel cut oats is one of the best ways to have oats.
Hmm.
But if folks are not familiar with how to make it yet, they can start with just the rolled oats, the old-fashioned oats
Hmm.
in the containers there, and just make your own porridge. Or just, you know what I've found that's so easy?
Hmm.
Now I just pour the rolled oats into a bowl, like about half a cup. I pour some milk over it, some almond milk, put a few raisins, let it sit down, and in 5 minutes the thing is soft. I eat it just like that. You don't even have to work to eat oats like that. Now, steel cut oats you cannot eat like that. That has to be cooked for a while. But the rolled oats, they're already pressed out for you. You can just add milk and eat it. So try to get whole grains in every single day because that helps you to fight allergic rhinitis. You won't have as much itchy eyes, runny nose, and discomfort.
So I'm just curious, is there an advantage to eating steel cut oats and rather than the rolled oats?
Sure. So we want to be as unprocessed as possible. And the closer we get to the natural state, the more nutrients we're going to get. That's by
Mm-hmm.
far, we know that for sure. Now,
Mm-hmm. Well, you're breaking up, Doc, so we're not hearing you again. I guess you'll come back soon.
can you hear me?
I hear you now. Yeah, but you were
All right.
gone.
So when it comes to oats, the least
So you are muted again, Doc, and here we are again. I'm not sure. I guess the internet is not strong enough to carry us today for some reason. I don't know.
Oh, we haven't had this problem for a long, long time.
Yeah, that is true. And you know, the reality is that in my case, I normally go wired, and because I'm on the laptop, there's no wire, so I'm going wirelessly. And I'm not sure if it's my internet or yours, but one is causing some problems.
Okay, all right, all right, all right. So we were talking about can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you loud and clear.
Okay, we're talking about oats and the different types of processing. The
Uh-huh.
least processed oats is the oat groat.
Hmm.
So like it looks almost like this, but it's shelled. Then you have your steel cut oats that's nicely chopped up for you, but it has to be cooked for hours. Then you have
Hmm.
your rolled oats. That's what you get in your Quaker Oats box, or those big containers there. And then you
Hmm.
have your quick oats. And the quick oats is the most processed kind of oat, but you know what? It's still a step better than your sugary box cereal,
I
which we
see.
really want to not buy. Just walk past them, get something
Hmm.
else. Those are not good choices. And nutritional yeast is really a superfood. 1 teaspoon a day is all you need to get enough beta glucan to help with your allergic rhinitis. And those that you can sprinkle on your salad, in your soup, on your gravy, anywhere. It's just yummy to eat, and it has loads of B vitamins. Now, I'm going to move now. Oh, you had a question, Pastor?
No, no, not at all. I was just saying I see.
All right. We're going to move now to talk about herbs because folks sometimes want to know, well, what kind of herbs can I use for my allergic rhinitis? And I'm going to let you know that I'm going to share only herbs that have evidence. And I'm going to separate them into strong evidence and not so strong evidence. And that just means studies. Do we have studies on these to show that they work? Now, not you may know of a herb that works that there's no studies on, and it probably does work, but nobody has studied enough for us to talk about it. That doesn't mean it doesn't work, but there's no evidence. Um, Here, I'm going to talk to you about the evidence. What does the scientific literature say about different herbs that may help with your symptoms? And I want to remind us that there are no recommended herbs for children and pregnant women in this situation because the studies are limited. We don't know the right dosing, so approach with caution. Not to say kids and pregnant ladies can never use any herbs for these conditions, but we don't know all the information. And so I can't say to you today, oh, go ahead, it's totally safe because we don't have the evidence. So keep that in mind. All right, so herbal remedies with the strongest scientific evidence. The one with the strongest evidence, or one of them with the strongest evidence, is something called butterbur. Now, I wasn't even familiar with this herb because it's not a common one that I've heard anybody talk about. But apparently, it has some of the strongest evidence that it actually helps in treating allergic rhinitis. In 3 studies, Butterbur did just as well as the standard prescription medications. And so this is something that maybe a naturopath might use, or maybe you could get it on your own. It's 50 milligrams twice a day, and that works just as well as the prescription meds. The only thing is that, just like any other prescription medication, it does have side effects. And so you need to tell your doctor that you're taking this and even ask to get certain blood tests done. If I were going to take this, I would want to have blood tests done because I don't want things interacting in my body and I don't know what effect I'm having. So, for example, butterbur has been shown to damage the liver, and it has been linked to certain cancers. There are about 40 reports that have appeared in the literature showing liver damage with butterbur. So, if I were going to try this med or try this remedy, this herb, I would want my liver studies done, you know probably every few months, just to be on the safe side. I wouldn't take it and not think about that. Now, cinnamon bark, Spanish needle, and acerola has been shown to be as effective as prescription medications. And it looks like they help to decrease prostaglandins. Those are other compounds that trigger inflammation. But we don't know how long you can take it for because there are no long-term studies. But this you can get over the counter or at your herbal store. And I know acerola is very high in vitamin C. Cinnamon bark we're familiar with. Spanish needle, I've never had a chance to use it, so I'm not really, familiar with that personally. But cinnamon bark has been used as a nasal spray in some good studies, and these folks that used it only had to use it for about 7 days and they got improvement. Now, the nasal spray extract of cinnamon bark over 7 days reduced symptom severity, improved quality of life, work productivity, and regular daily activities in those that were in the study. So that sounds pretty good to me. Cinnamon bark, just squirting it in your nose as an oil, that may be something that might be worth trying. Capsaicin. Capsaicin is from red hot chili peppers. And it's amazing how much medicine is in this food, because not only does it work for allergic rhinitis as a spray, nasal spray, but in my field of arthritis, because I'm an arthritis specialist, capsaicin has been shown to help with joint problems. And they sell capsaicin as a cream that you can rub on your joints, and it helps my patients a lot with their pain. So capsaicin is like a little wonder food there that can help with various things. The nasal spray contains dilute capsaicin because, of course, it's hot, so it's diluted, and what it does, it appears to desensitize the nasal nerve fibers, so it's not responding to all these little pollens. And you use it twice a day for about 2 weeks, and it seems to help. So, other options for folks who are struggling and don't always want the side effects of some of the really sedating prescription drugs on the market. Now, here are some remedies that have just limited scientific evidence. And funny enough, these are the ones that we hear about more often, but the evidence is not as strong that they actually work. Quercetin has evidence, but limited. Stinging nettle, steamed eucalyptus, menthol, ginkgo biloba, milk thistle, and grapeseed extract. Some evidence, but not a whole lot. And quercetin, though, even though it doesn't have a lot of evidence, that's something that I would really consider because it's a natural substance found in plants. It's an antioxidant and anti-inflammatory. And we don't make quercetin as humans, but we find it in fruits and vegetables. And another reason why a plant-based diet works for allergic rhinitis, because it's high in quercetin. What foods have most of this compound? Grapes, usually the nicely dark colored foods. Grapes, berries, cherries, everything, all this coming into season now, eat lots of them. Apples, citrus fruits, onions, buckwheat, kale, tomatoes, red wine, but I don't recommend wine. I say just eat the grapes, and black tea. Quercetin is a mast cell stabilizer. Remember, mast cells are the main cells that like go crazy when pollen comes. Well, quercetin helps to calm it down and it inhibits the release of histamine. That's what leads to all those symptoms. It's it's found in intranasal sprays also. That should be easier to take. And it was used in patients with conjunctivitis, asthma, and allergic rhinitis. And all the patients, all 12 of them, had improvements within 5 minutes of taking this intranasal substance. And it lasted for several hours. So maybe quercetin nasal spray might be a good one to try. I mean, trust me, I didn't know about half of these things before, but in studying, researching, learning, I'm coming across evidence that God's ways are so superior that we really need to be familiar with them and utilize them. Recommended dosage, you can take it in a pill form, about 600 milligrams 3 times a day. before meals. I probably would try the intranasal spray personally, but if you like pills, you can take it like that also. Stinging nettle, evidence, but probably just one study that's well known. But the good thing, though, it doesn't have a known horrible side effect. It's considered to be fairly, okay. Even though the actual leaf, if it gets on your skin, can really burn and itch you. But it can be beneficial for allergic rhinitis. More studies would be nice if we could get them. About 300 milligrams a day is what's recommended. And the side effects, like I said, are not known to be terrible. Probably some, gastric intolerance, uh, rash on your hand, but nothing crazy like liver damage, like the butterbur. And eucalyptus, oh my, we have these plants in Jamaica. They're so beautiful. Eucalyptus has been shown to do well as a steam inhalation. So you put it in water, it's hot water, and you inhale the steam that comes up as the oils are being released. I just buy the eucalyptus oil and put it in steaming water and inhale that. And I actually made a video with my kids of us doing steam inhalation, and it does open up your sinuses. Trust me. I've used it before and it works. Milk thistle. Milk thistle we always hear of for liver. It helps to the liver to function better. It's an antioxidant and it has a lot of research behind it. For the liver, that's where they focus their attention on with this herb. But there is a study looking at allergic rhinitis, and it did help to reduce symptoms of runny nose, itchy eyes, and was useful. The amazing thing, Pastor, is that this is in our backyards. I've always seen this weed and didn't know what it was, but when you look in your backyard, it's right there. And it's just amazing that most of these things that are so helpful for us are in our backyards. They're weeds, we pluck them out, we throw them away, but they have medicine and healing powers. With milk thistle, though, one thing that we need to know is that it does inhibit cytochrome P450. And that's important for us in the medical realm because cytochrome P450 is important for the metabolism of many drugs. And if you inhibit it, you will affect drug levels of certain prescription medications. So if you are on certain things like Coumadin, statins for your cholesterol, cyclosporin, or things to kind of calm you down, benzodiazepines or antipsychotics, you don't want to take milk thistle with that because it's going to really affect your medication levels. So that's one thing we need to know, that milk thistle inhibits cytochrome P450. So please be aware of that. So we're going to wrap it up and I'm going to do or apply it slide. How do we incorporate all this into our lives? What is our take home point? Well, there is hope for allergic rhinitis. So many of us suffer constantly. Our quality of life is so diminished because we just feel horrible with this discomfort. And the medications that we take sometimes just makes us so sluggish. We can't concentrate. We're so sleepy. Other side effects, but they're remedies. They are remedies that we can do and take to help us fight allergic rhinitis. And the most important one is optimizing our immune system. Eating a plant-based diet goes a far way in fighting and reversing so many of the things that we struggle with. Also, getting exercise. That is a next medicine that will help us do better with our allergy symptoms. Drinking adequate water, a lot of water, and using hydrotherapy. And then there are natural remedies like herbs that we can take. Be careful with children and pregnant women. Don't just disregard the fact that we don't know how much you should take and what it can do to those little bodies. And live your best life starting today by really believing in the gifts that God has given to us. the lifestyle principles are from the creator himself, because he made us and he knows how we function best. So um, I really want to encourage us all to try God, and he will heal.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Doctor. You are right on time. We're going to get kicked off at 10:30, and I believe we have a minute and a half to go. So, what are we talking about next week, Wednesday? You've got it worked out yet?
We're talking about water. And as I'm preparing this talk on water, I am just amazed at how powerful water is. And it probably won't just be one talk, it may be in two parts, but I'm excited to talk about that, the healing benefits of water.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well, we look forward to seeing you next Wednesday. And folks, we want to thank you for joining us. Hope you all have a great day. We will see you in the morning. Remember, 6 o'clock this evening, you can join us for our regularly scheduled prayer meeting led by the Elders of Hope. God bless you. Doc, let's say a word of prayer and bid our adieu. Father, thank you so much for the time we shared together today. Thank you for Dr. Kathy and for the wisdom that she was able to bring. Help us, Lord, to order our lives according to this wisdom so that we can have greater success in controlling our allergies. This we pray in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Have a great day, Dr. Kathy. And Saints, have a great day as well.
All right. Goodbye.
And I did get to put start your stream, so it was there on
Thank you.
Facebook and YouTube.
Thank you.
Yes.